Okay, today we're going to be doing 5th grade lesson 3, compare, order, and round whole numbers. Okay, so compare, right? Greater than, less than, or equal to for each. So for the first question, we could see the front numbers are both the same. So these are in the 10,000s, and it's both 25,000, 25,000. And then we look at the next number, and then since 6 is greater than 4, we know that this number, 25,431, is less than 25,661. So less than. Next question. We know that this is in the hundred thousands and this is also in the hundred thousands. So 725,000 is greater than 724,000. So this would be greater. So 12,112 is in the same place 10,000s as 12,111. And since we know that 112 is greater than 111 because of the 2, we know that this is greater. And 19,134 and 19,134, these two are the exact same, so they're equal. 156,462, 146,423. They're both in the hundred thousands, and since 5 is greater than 4, it's like this. 354,000 and 235,000. We know that this is clearly bigger since 3 and 2. 131 and 113. We go place by place. 1, 1, and 3, 1. So we know that this is greater. Again, for number 8, 123,456 and then 123,456. They're both the same, so we know they're equal to each other. And then 1,532 and then 3,643. They're both in the thousands, and then we know that 3 is greater than 1, so 1,532 is less than 3,643. Order each set of numbers from greatest to least. Okay, so first off, when we tackle this problem, we want to be looking at the number, we want to be looking at the places for the whichever one has the greatest amount of uh, value places. So we know that this is in the 10,000s, this is in the 100,000s, and this is in the 10,000s. So right away, we know that 422,007 is the greatest, and then now it's between 43,055 and 42,007. So now what we want to be doing is we're going to look digit by digit. So 4, 4, 3, 2. So we know that 43,055 is greater than 42,007. We'll do the same thing for number 2, where we look at all the places. They're all in the hundred thousands. So we could see now that 888, 111, and then we can see they're all different here. 2, 4, and 3. So if we put them in order, 814,475 is the largest, 813,677, then 812,661. For number 3, they're all in the hundreds. Once again, 254, 213, because we're looking at the second numbers, 213, and then obviously this is the least because the 1, 142. Now number 4, 213,134, 123,345, 245,521. We know that this is going to be the least because of the 1, and then this is going to be greatest because of the 4 and the 1 here. So it'd be 245,521, then 213,134, then 123,345. Once again, they're all in the 10,000s, so we look at the first number, 111, 2, 3, 1. So we know that put this in order, 13,631, 12,543, 11,521. Round to the place of the underlined digit. So we look at our underlined digit, and then we want to focus on what comes to the right. of the underlying digit. So the number to the right is 4. If the number to the right is 4 or less, then you want to just keep the number as 5. So and then turn everything else to the right to 0. So in this case it would be 500 since it's 4 or less. Now if we look at this case for number 2, the 8 that follows the 2 is greater than 4. So the 2 would turn into a 3 and then all of these other numbers turn into zeros. Now for number 3, since the underlined one is 7, we only worry about the ones after. So we could keep the 5, and we know that 4 comes after 7, and since it's 4 or less, uh, it stays at 7. So 57,000, and that's it. Turn them into zeros. Same thing for number 4. It's greater, 300,000. For 153, we copy it exactly, and then 2, 3, 3 is less than 4, less than or equal to 4, so 2, 0, 0. Same thing here. Copy that down, and then 7 is greater, so round up. Here, 5 is greater, so 5 is greater than 4, so round up. 2 is less than 4, so keep it. 9, copy it exactly, then 2 since it's 5. And then here we just round, keep it the same. Okay, round each number. So to the nearest thousand. 28,652 to the nearest thousand. What we want to be doing here is we should underline where the thousand place is. So we're doing the exact same thing as we did back here for this. So this would just be 29,000. So underline this. 10,000 right here. So just the 8 to the nearest thousand. So well, this the 9 here. So it would just be 2, 5. And then since this is an 8, it would round up. And then this would turn into a 10. So we carry it over and it just becomes 268,000. Underline the 100,000. Then just round. Problem solving and reasoning. So the table is showing the population of 6 US cities. So we want to arrange the cities in order from the least to the greatest population. Okay, so we know that they're in the 100,000s, so we need to look at the first digit. We can tell right away that Atlanta and St. Louis are the least because they have threes. And then we'll look at the second digits, 3, 9. And then Atlanta is 4, so it would be Atlanta, then St. Louis. And then now we have to look at these. We know that it's either Boston or Seattle next. And we know it's Seattle because 1. So Seattle, then Boston, and then we have San Antonio and San Francisco, and then clearly the 7 and the 9. So San Francisco, then San Antonio. Round each city's population to the nearest 100,000. Order the rounded population from least to greatest. What do you notice? So let's round San Francisco. So let's try rounding in order. So um, here to the nearest 100,000. So San Francisco would turn into 700,000. Boston would turn into 600,000. And San Antonio would turn into 900,000. 500,000. 400,000. And this is also 400,000. So, and then now let's order it from least to greatest. Now we know that Atlanta and St. Louis are the same, so we'll just keep it in the same order for now. And then it's Seattle, and then Boston, San Francisco, and San Antonio. So what do you notice? We should notice that the order is the exact same, except that Atlanta and St. Louis had a small change, so it didn't look really as much of a change. And then which two cities have populations that round to the same number when they are rounded to the nearest 100,000? Atlanta and St. Louis both round to 400,000. Which city has a population closest to 800,000? The closest to 800,000. Okay, so San Francisco is 723,959, and San Antonio is 959 or 935,000. And we know that these two, 800,000 is between the 7 and 9. So if we want to see what's closer, we could try subtracting. So we could try 800,000 minus 723,959 and 935,000. 933 minus 800,000. And then if we solve these out, we should we should be getting uh we should solve this out. So 10. So we get 76,041, and then for here 339,531. So we know that this is closer since this is less than this number. So we know that it would be San Francisco that is closer.